Good morning, everyone. So, in the last session, we discussed about the important concept called the collection related each and every method we identified here. We'll continue the same interface related the what are the remaining method we are having here. Now, here understand here. So we focus more about the collection. Now we'll focus more about the list interface here. Inside the list interface, we discuss about the add all method. So what exactly the add all method is implemented internally. So based on this particular index here, whatever the collection of objects we are going to pass here, based on the specified index location, the objects are going to be inserted here. Okay, so this is we observed in the last session. And so we'll understand the get method. So what exactly the get method is going to be implemented. Now to understand here, so what I'm doing here, I'm trying to write this particular array dot get method. Now here, what is expecting the parameter? It is expecting the int index here. Okay, so whenever it is expecting the int index here, what we are going to provide basically, here we are going to provide the here we are going to provide the index number. Okay, so let's say I want to load the fourth index here. I want to load the fourth index. Now whenever I'm trying to load this particular fourth index here, so what exactly first it is going to do internally? What exactly it is going to do internally? First, it is going to check the whether this particular index is available or not. Whether this particular index is available or not. In our case, the index is available. Now we are getting a 50 value. Now I'm giving the 40 here. In place of this particular 4, so I change to the 40 here. Now whenever I'm changed to the 40, now you can see we are getting an exception. Okay, here we are getting an exception. Index 40, it is out of bound for this particular length called 15. So what is saying basically, so we need to work with this particular 15 only. Within this particular 15 index only, we need to, okay, so we need to provide the indexes because this is the current size. This is the size of this particular object we are having. So we inserted only 0 to 14, 15 records we inserted here. Get in the pen. Now, if you give this particular 40, we are getting an exception. So this exception is coming from where here? This exception which is coming from where here? Okay, to understand this, now I'm going to provide the implementation of this particular get index here. Now here you can see, so this is the public e get index method, and here what is the next the step we are doing here? We are calling the one method called check index method, and here we are providing the index, and here we are providing the size. Okay, so here we are providing the index and the size. The index, so which is we are going to get from the get method. The size by default will get from the array list. So for how many record we inserted, so based on that, this particular size we are going to get. Now internally, what I'm doing basically here again one more method we are calling. So index and length, and this is the third parameter we are providing as a null here. Now here, so we need to understand it. So this is basically if the index is less than 0 or if the index is greater than or equals to length. If the index is greater than or equals to length. So in that case, now we are going to get an exception called out of bound exception. So same exception we are getting or not? Here we are getting the index out of bound exception here. Okay, so whenever we are providing more than the length here, whenever we are providing the more than this particular length here, now we are going to get an exception, or if the less than to this particular 0, so in that case also we are going to get an exception. So these are the two cases we are going to get an exception here. So this is what we need to understand regarding this particular get method. This is important here. Now, so we provided the within the length of the value. Now whenever we provided this, now what we can do, here we are calling the element data. Now what is this particular element data? It is an object array reference. Okay, it is an object array reference. If you remember, so initially whenever we are trying to store the data, this data it is going to be stored in the format called element data. Here we provided the element data, and which is having the type called object here. Okay, so this is the reference variable of this particular object here, and which is going to hold the multiple values here, multiple values. Now using this, now here you can see element data, we are providing the index. If index equals to, and if we provide the something, we are initializing into the specified index. But here we are not providing the index and the particular piece of code here. So what we can understand here, just it is going to be load the value based on this particular index location, based on this particular index location. So this is what we need to understand here. Okay, so this is what we need to understand here. Now, so what we will do basically here, so once this particular index, based on the index we loaded the value, we are converting to the, so generic type here. What is the generic type we are using? In our case, we are using the integer related. So the particular integer value, it is going to be written here. Okay, so this is a way the get method internally is implemented. The first important section, what we understand here we understand the first it is going to be check the index. The index is available within the range or not. If it is not available, we'll get an exception. Otherwise, if it is available within the range, now what exactly it will do now? So it is going to be called the element data method, and under this particular element data method, what happens basically? So it will try to load the value and it will try to return the value. Okay, so this is a way the particular piece of code it is going to be written here. Okay, now this is very important here. Whenever we are trying to load the specified value, now what we will do, we'll give the index location and we'll load the value. Okay, I given 10 here. I given 10. Now I'm getting the 80 here. So now if I'm going to give 15, we'll get an exception. 15. The length we are having basically 15 here. Now you can see, so 0 to 14 we need to give. We cannot go for the 15. Okay, 15 index is not available, but we are having an index called 0 to 14 here. So this is what we need to understand here. Now if I'm going to give the 14 without any exception, okay, without any exception, we'll get the specified value here. Now we are getting 120. This is what we need to understand whenever we are trying to work with the get method. So we need to be very carefully. So the index will start from the 0. Okay. And if the length is 20, we need to give up to 19 only. We cannot go for the 20 value here. So this is what we need to understand regarding the get method. Now, so another method. Now what we are doing basically, set method. Set method. Okay. So what exactly the set method will do now? Now here array list dot set method I'm calling into index. Let's say I want to modify the 14 index value. So something like I'm trying to give 140. Okay, the 14 index location I'm trying to replace with the value called 140. Now here you can see we'll run in the debug mode so that we can understand this particular value, how it is implemented. Okay, so this is a set method we are calling, and now I'm trying to provide the internal implementation. So now what we are doing is integer dot value of, okay, no problem. So we'll try to convert into the integer. Now I'm calling the set method. Observe carefully, what is the index we are having here? What is the index we are having here? So here we can see carefully, index we are having 14 and the value we given as a 140. Okay, so this is important here. Now what we are doing basically, again we are calling the, so this important method. What is the important method? Objects check index. Okay, object check index method we are calling. So now finally what we understand is whether the index is available within the range or not, it is going to be checked. So in our case, so whatever the 14 we provided is, so the 14 it is within the range of this particular length here. Okay, so no need to check internally. Now I'm going for the next line. Now what I'm doing is element data we are calling. So this is just now we discussed here. Okay, just now we discussed here element data based on the index location, whatever the value which is available. So the specified value we are trying to return here. Okay, the specified value we are trying to return here. Now, what we need to understand here, old value. So old value. What is the old value we are having? 120. In the 14 index location, so we are having the value called 120. Here you can see same value we are getting. Same value we are getting. Now, what I'm doing, if you observe carefully, so using the element data dot index we are calling to load the value, same element data and index we given, and here you can see so equal and element value. Okay, so this is very important here. Now, element data, here I'm providing the index. Here I'm providing the index. So simply it will load the value. Okay, load the value. So now the second step, basically what we can understand here, if I'm going to be use equals, and if I'm going to provide the, so one more value. In our case, we are trying to providing 140. What exactly it is doing? In place of this particular index location, whatever the value we have, the value now it is going to be replaced with 140. Now it is going to be replaced with 140 here. So this is what we need to understand here. This is what we need to understand here. Okay. So now we are loading the old value 120. Now I'm trying to replacing with the new value. So what is the new value it is going to be replaced with? So 140, and I'm trying to return the old value. And I'm trying to return this particular old value. So this is the main purpose of this particular set here. Okay. So let's say after this particular calling the set method, we'll see. So what are the values we are going to have? Okay. Now you can see before calling the set method, we are having 120. After calling the set method, now 120 is replaced with 140. So this is what we need to understand. Now here, what I'm doing in place of this particular 6 index location, we added this particular list here. So these are the 3 records we added. Now, what I will do, I'm going to be adding the 16 index location. Now I'm going to be adding the 16 index location. So carefully observe now. Okay, carefully observe what exactly this add-all will do now. This is important now. Now this is the add-all. So range check for add. Now what we are doing, this is the range check here. Now the range check basically what is checking here, size we are having 12, but the index we given as a 16. Now we are throwing an exception. When we are trying to work with the add-all, what we need to work here? So within the size, getting the point? Within the size only, we need to provide this particular collection of objects. Within the size only, we need to provide this collection of objects. So we cannot go for the outside of this particular length here. This is what we need to understand. Now we are getting an exception. Okay, because size is 12, but index we given as a 16. So it is not going to be supported here. It is not going to be supported here. Okay, so here let's go to the same 6, whatever the 6 we given here. Okay, whenever we are trying to work with the list related method, what exactly it is doing first here? First it is checking the index. The index is within this particular size or not, it is going to be checked. If it is within the size, then it is going to be insert the value based on the specified index. If it is not within the size, what exactly it will do? It will throw an exception. Okay, so this is what we need to understand. Now the differences between set and add. Okay, so set also expecting 2 parameters and add also expecting 2 parameters. Add also expecting 2 parameters. But what we need to understand here, the differences here, what we need to understand here, set method will override the value. Set method is overriding the value, but whereas a add method. So what exactly the add method will do? Here only I'm calling it. Here only I'm calling add method, and I'm giving 15 index location. Okay, so 150 I'm giving. So carefully observe. So here set method we are calling. So that is we discussed just now. Now we are going to work with this particular add method. So we'll see what exactly the add method which is expecting the 2 parameters in the index and the element value. Now, so I'm printing this set method I'm calling. Now finally we are calling the add method which is expecting the 2 parameters here. Let's see So what exactly the add method is doing now? What exactly the add method? Here you can see into index element to 150. Okay, so range check. Now this is important. What exactly the range check will do now? Now you can see, index we are having 15. So what is the size we are having? 15. What is the size we are having? 15. So in our case, it is not going to be throw any exception. Okay. Now you can see here element data, this dot element data, and we are calling the length. Okay. So what we need to understand here, it's a simple understanding here. Basically, so size we are initializing into the S. Okay. And this size equals to length here. Whenever it is going to be satisfied, now this grow method will call. That is we already discussed in the previous sessions. So what I will do, this dot element dot length here. Okay, what is the length we are getting? 15. And size here. And I'm calling the size. So finally, what do we understand here? What do we understand here? Here we understand the, so this condition will satisfy. Now it will call the grow method. Okay, now it is calling the grow method. So what exactly the grow method is going to do now? What exactly the grow method which is going to do now? It will create the new array list here, and it will copy the existing value, and it will try to give the space for the new elements. So this is we already observed grow method. So no need to work on the one more time. Now you can see the element data. So what is the length we are going to have now? Okay, earlier we observed the length is returning 15. The same element data, if I'm going to call this dot element data dot length figure. Okay, now you can see 22 we are getting. Earlier we got 15. How it is increased 22? Because of this particular grow method. Because of this particular grow method. Okay, so up to 15, the existing values are copied. Now, so after the 15, we can insert the few more records here. So in that case, we are trying to insert this particular 150 here. Okay, but here you can see, even though the length and the size is matched here, still we are able to insert the record. Still, we are able to insert the record in the specified index location. Specified index location here. Getting the point? Now, here, so what you need to understand basically, this is very important. We need to understand here. Whenever we are trying to work with a set method within the existing array list, within the existing array list only, we can modify the value. Modify means we can override the particular value. So let's say, so this is a existing array list we are having now. So now you can see, so 10 I'm going to be give. Here I'm going to give the 10 value. So 0 to 9, 0 to 9 we are going to insert here. Let's say 0 to 9 we can provide here. For example, I want to modify the fifth index value. So we can call the set method, we can replace. Okay, but add method what is doing? Even though the 0 to 9 we are having index, so I'm trying to insert the value in the 10th index location. I'm planning to insert the value in the 10. So because here what happens basically, whenever we are trying to work with this for add method, first it will check the size. If the size and length are matched here, now it will going to create a new array list here, and it will copy the existing value, and it will try to insert the new value. It will try to insert this particular new value. Getting the point? So now another important section basically here, this growing nature is available only add method, but whereas a set method, just it is going to be replace the value. There is no scope called growing nature. Okay, only overriding the value. Just it is going to be replacing with the existing value with the new value. So that we can do with the set method. Whereas if I want to insert in the different index location, so we can go for this particular add method here. Okay, so this is the main difference we are going to understand with help of this particular add method, which is expecting the two parameter. Let's say I want to insert in the 20 index location. Okay, so earlier we discussed about the 15. Now I want to discuss with 20 here. Now, so this is the add method. Now I'm calling this particular again one more time. Now you can see, so index is 20, element is 15. Okay, now we'll go for the range check here. What happening basically? What happened basically? Now here 20 we are getting, size we are having 15. Okay, so here we are throwing an exception. We are throwing an exception here. So greater than the size, you can up to insert with the size. If you're trying to exceeding the size, you will get an exception. In our case, you can see now we are throwing an exception. Now you are getting an exception here. Okay, so this is important. Now you can see, so this is range check for add we are having, but whenever I'm trying to call the set method, whenever I'm calling the set method here, so which method we are calling? Check index. Okay, so both methods are different. Now, if I show you the logic here, how the logic is implemented. Index less than 0, index greater than or equals to length. Okay, so now you can see, so this is a set method condition. Here I'm trying to paste here. This is the what we can say set method. Okay, and add method we can go here, and this is the range check here. Now observe here two conditions how we are having. Okay, two conditions. Now you can see here we are having greater than or equals to length, but here there is no greater than or equals to. This is only the main difference we are having. Okay, so let's say the size we are having, we already discussed size we are having 15. Okay, so if you are providing the 15 when we are trying to work with the set here, it will throw an exception. It will throw an exception because the index we are going to give as a 15 and the length we are having internally 15. So this will satisfy the condition. So whenever we are trying to work with the add, even though we are giving the same index 15, now it is not going to be throw an exception. Simply it will return the false. This condition will become false here, and this particular condition will become true. Okay, this is important. So this condition implemented in the set method, and this condition is implemented for the add method. Okay, this is what we need to understand, important section again. Okay, so add method basically up to the in size or length we can insert, but whereas the set method, so length minus 1, we need to work on the one value less value compared to this particular size or length here. This is what we need to understand regarding this particular differences between set and add method, which even though those are expecting two same parameters. Okay, so here you can see set method and add method. So remove method. So here, if you observe remove method, what we are doing here, we are passing the object as a parameter, and it is trying to return the boolean whether the object is removed successfully or not. But what about this particular remove here? Here it is expecting the int index. It's a simple one. Based on the index, the object is going to be removed. The first the object it is going to be loaded, and once object is loaded, so the same index location we are going to specify the null value. Okay, so now observe the remove here. Array list dot remove. I'm trying to give as a 15. Okay, I'm trying to give as a 15. So we'll see how this particular remove internally implemented. Now here you can see somewhere I given. Okay. Now, so carefully observe, this is the remove method we are having it. Now I'm calling internally remove method. So here you can see check index. Check index we are calling. We are not calling the range check. So whenever we are working with the check index, so which condition it is going to be checked? This is the condition. This is the condition. So what is the length we are having? 22. What is the index we provided? 15. Okay. So now understand here. Go to the internal implementation. Length we are having 16. Okay. So far we inserted 16 value and we given as a index 15. So it is not going to be satisfied the condition. Simply it will return the false value. So we observe here. We observe this. After this, what I'm doing here, I'm loading the elementary data. So far, whatever the elements we are having. Now, here you can see ES, I'm giving the index. EX, I'm giving index. Now, what we can understand basically, so here we can understand the, based on the index location, it is going to be load the value. Okay, old value, 150. Now, what is the method we are calling? Fast remove. So what exactly the fast remove method will do now? Now here you can see, here we can understand the fast remove. New size is equals to size minus 1. So what is the size we are having? 16. 16 minus 1, 15. So new size is 15. And if the new size greater than of I, what is the I 15. So this particular piece of code, it is not going to be satisfied. It is not going to be satisfied here. Now simply what I'm doing here, in the 15 index location, in the 15 index location, what exactly I'm trying to do now? Here I'm trying to providing the value null here. In the which index location I'm trying to providing the value null here? Here I'm trying to providing the value null in the new size. So that is called 15. Okay, now here you can see. So as of now, the value is not removed. 15 index location, still we are having 150. So still we are having 150. So whenever I am coming out of this particular 674, you will see only 14. Only 14 here. Here you can see 14. There is no 15. So why it is not showing the 15? Because the 15 just now we removed here. Just now we removed here. Okay. So this is we understand here. Okay. We come out of this. We come out of this particular piece. So we observe the 15 here. But now what I will do, I want to remove the 10 here. I want to remove the 10 here. So what exactly the remove method will do now? Because initially I given the 15 index location, that is the last record. But whereas this particular 10 here, what we can understand here, okay. So range check. So this will pass here, element data, old value 80. Okay, old value 80 we are getting. Now here, fast remove we are calling it. Now size minus 1. What is the size we are having? 16. So 16 minus 1. 16 minus 1 here. Now what we can understand here? So that will become 15. Now we are trying to set into the new size here. And here important to call I. What is I basically? I, it is the value of this particular, the index we provided. So that is called 10. Now you can see, so condition is satisfying here. 15 greater than or equals to 10. So 15 is the bigger value. Getting the point? 15 is a bigger value. Now what we will understand basically here, so it is going to copy the array copy. So this is very important. Now here, so source object, source index position, destination object, so destination and length. How many objects we want to copy? Getting the point? This is very important. We need to understand whenever we are trying to providing the between the value. So now understand here this ES will contain the original values. Like here you can see, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is having some sequence here, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now whenever I'm coming out of this, now observe carefully the same ES here. Okay. Now here you can see 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Getting the point? But here, so where is the 80 value? Where is the 80 value. This is what we need to understand here. Where is the 80 value and why we are getting 152 times? Getting the point? So why we are getting 152 times here? But we did not insert the value 152 times. We insert only one time here. Okay. So now what you need to understand here, the 80 related part is removed. Okay. So now it's doing the shift operation. Shift operations mean, for example, this is the array list we are having. Now here we are having 0 to 15 we are having. Okay. So 0 to 15 we are having. Now whenever we are having 0 to 15, now what we are doing basically, here the 10th record I'm planning to remove. Whenever I'm trying to remove this particular 10th record, so 11th win will come into the 10th. So now it is doing the one shift operations here. So who is going to take care of this? So this is the method, system.arrayCopy. System.arrayCopy, internally it is going to take care of this particular, so position change, the index changing the value. Getting the point? So whenever we are trying to remove the middle value of the beginning value, what it will do? It will do the shift operations here. It will do the shift operations here. So this is what we need to understand here. This is what we need to understand here. Now, this is we observe. So after this, what we can understand here, we are removing the specified index location. So which value I'm going to remove? 15 index location, because 15 we are having twice values. Okay. So if you see this, the last 15 index will get only 150. There is no second 150. Second 150. So this is what we need to understand. Now if you understand here, source index. So what is a source index basically? So we observe here, originally here. Original object here 0 to 15, because 16 we are inserted. 0 to 15. Now this is, we'll call it as a ES here. So same, so ES destination. So one more ES. Okay. This is also same here. Now here 0 to 15 I'm providing. But what we need to understand here, this is the source and source position I plus 1. I plus 1 means what we can understand here, we can understand the I value 10 here. 10 plus 1, 11. Okay. From this particular 11 records, so you can see, so you can understand here, these are the you can understand here. So 11 we are having, 12, so 13 and 14. Getting the point? These values are going to copy. These values are going to be copied from the which index here? Which index here? 10 here. Now you can see this is the 10. Now in the 10 index location, the 11 index value will store. Okay. In the 12 index location value, it is going to be stored in the 11, and in the 13 index location value, it will store in the 12 index location. And in the same way, the 14 one will store in the 13 index location. The 15 one will store in the 14. So this 15 as it is we are kept. Okay. So because of this, 14 is having 150 and 15 also we are going to have 150. But here, what is the value we overrided here? So the 10 value. Okay. The 10 value, now it replaced with the 11 index value. So this is the array copy. So this is, we'll call it as a source here, source array, and this is the destination array. Okay, this is the destination array. Now what exactly we are doing? Based on this particular index value, now I'm trying to change the one index. Okay, so the 10 index now replacing with that 11. Same way 12, 12, 11, 13, 12, 14, 13, 15, 14. Like now we changing. The 15 as it is we are keeping, and the last, the line number 674, what exactly it will do now? So it is trying to make the null value on the 15 index location. So this index we are going to get as a null value. Okay, this is what we need to understand here. This is what we need to understand. This is what exactly it is doing whenever we are trying to remove the beginning index or middle index in the array list here, given array list here. So it is going to do some shift operation. The shift operation, it is taken care of by, this is the simple logic array dot copy method. Sorry, system dot array copy method. Okay, so is it clear regarding this particular remove method? Okay, this is very important here. So far we discussed about the add all method, get method we discussed, set method we discussed, add method, and remove method. Any question regarding these particular methods here? Still anyone having any question? Okay, so if we don't have, now we'll go to the index of method. This is we already discussed here, because what exactly it will do based on this particular object. Okay, based on this particular object, if we figure it out any index here, so it will return the specified index. Otherwise, it will try to return the -1 here. Okay, so even though we'll try to run one more time here, array list dot index of here. So what is the value I'm trying to give here? So something like 160 I'm giving. Something like 160. Now you'll understand here how this index of method internally implemented here. How exactly the index of method internally implemented here. Now you can see what we are doing basically. So this is not important here. Now we'll go for the index of range. Index of range contains method, index of method will do the same behavior, but only the contains additional will do so greater than or equals to 0. Some condition it will do the greater than or equal to 0. So if the value will get positive, then it will return the true. Otherwise, it will return the false. So this is all about the contains method. But now index of here, simply it will try to return the specify index number based on the value. So let's say 160 I given. The 160 it's stored in the which index location. If the 160 is available in the array list here, it will return the specified index value. Otherwise, it will return the -1 value. Okay, now you can see a range check here. So element data, ES we are having. Okay, now you can see 0 to 15, sorry, 0 to 14, we can say 15 objects we are having, and here there is no 160. There is no 160. Here you can see we are going the L section. What is the start value? 0. What is the end value? 15. So 0 to 15, this loop is going to be repeated. 0 to 15, it is going to be repeated, and each and every time we are checking the equal method. Okay, we are calling this equal method. Whenever the object is matched, so it will return the I. Otherwise, it will return the -1. Whenever it is going to be matched the particular I value, so it will try to return the index. Otherwise, simply it will try to return the minus value. Okay, now here you can see it is not matching here. So it will come out of the loop. So now -1. So why we are getting the -1? We given the 160, the 160 no longer available. So up to 150 only we provided here. Okay, up to 150. So if I'm going to change to 160 to 150, 160 to 150, so same example I'm going to be run. Same example, now I'm running here. So here you can see index of range here, element data, null here getting into I is equals to start, I less than end here. So first time it is not satisfied, second time, third time, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So now we'll satisfy. Okay, so it is satisfied. Now it is time to return the I. What is I value? 14. Okay, the 150 it's stored in the which index location? 14 index location. Now you can see same. So 0 to 14. Okay, the 14 index it is trying to return here. It is trying to return as a 14. Now I given like I provided the object here. Now I'm getting the in the which index location the value is now stored here. In the 14 index location the value stored. So same way, last index of. Last index of. So it's a simple, the differences here, index of and last index of here, simply it will do the reverse. But index of currently what is doing it? So now it is time to check this order. Okay, so this means 0 to 14. 0 to 14 it is checking. But last index basically it will do the reverse. It will do the reverse. So first it will start from the 15. Now it will keep on checking to the 0. Okay, this is only the differences we need to understand, index of as well as last index of here. So we'll see the simple example regarding this particular last index of here. Now let me call the last index of also, arraylist dot last index of. The same 150 I'm going to give. Same 150 if I'm going to give here. So see the differences here. See the differences. I is equals to end minus 1. What is the end here? We'll get 15. 15 minus 1, 14. Getting the point? 15 minus 1, 14. So now you can see I'm copying the logic here. Logic is same. Okay. Logic is same. But only the difference here. Only the different here. So this is only the simple loop basically. Okay. So you can see start here. From start to end we are checking. But here end to start here. End to start. Getting the point? So only this is the difference we are having. So this piece of code we implemented for the last index. Okay. And this particular piece of code we implemented for the index of. Getting the point? So 0 to end it is going to check in our case. So 0 to 14. Okay. This is one 14. 14 to 0. 14 to 0. Okay. So this internally what we are doing, checking the same object. If the object is matched, returning I value. So here also we are checking the same object, returning I. Returning I. This is what we need to understand here. This is what we need to understand, index of as well as last index of. So logic is same, but only getting the value from 0 to last index we are getting when we are working with the index of, but whereas the last index of will do the reverse. So it will do the reverse. Whenever we want to do any reverse, so this is the way we need to do. End minus 1 and I greater than or equals to start. And we are trying to do the decrement I minus 1. But here you can see increment I plus plus. One value we are increasing. But here, when we are trying to work with the last index of, we are doing the decrement here. We are doing the decrement operation. So this is what we need to understand here. Okay. So we observe the index of here. So this list iterator related part we'll discuss later. Now we'll work on the sublist here. We'll work on the sublist. So it's a simple one. Now what exactly it will do? So let's say this is the array list we discuss here. Now what is the length we are having? 0 to 14 we are having. Okay. Now you can see, so these are the some indexes we are having here. These are the indexes we observe here. Now I want to load from index. The from index I given as a 5th here. And the to index I given as a 13. I given as a 13 here. Now what you will understand here, from 5th to 13. Okay, 5th to 13. I am going to copy this particular value. Now I will create a new array list here. I am going to create a new array list here. So basically between this particular values are going to copy it and it will create into the new array list here. So this is the main important purpose of this particular sublist here. So just middle value or the last value based on our conditions here, what we are doing here, we are trying to load the value and we'll try to create a new array list, and whatever we copied here, it will store the values here. It will store the values. So these are about the important section we need to understand here. These are the important section we need to understand here. Okay. So observe now. We'll try to work with the sublist also here. So whatever I suggested, I'm going to give same here. So 5, 13. 5, 13 here. Now here debug the same example, sublist here. Now you can see sublist here. From index we given 5, to index we given 13. Now here you can see what we are doing. We are calling the range check method. This is very important here. This is very important here, the range check method. Now we'll go for the range check here. Now from index, if it is less than 0, we'll get an exception. To index and size here. To index cannot be greater than to this particular size here. To index basically cannot be greater than to this particular size. What is the size we are having? 15. Okay, the to index we given 13. So condition is not satisfied. Now here you can see from index 5, to index is 13. Can you understand? So from index cannot be bigger compared to this particular to index here. So this is 3 conditions. So these 3 conditions are not going to be satisfied here. Okay, we are coming out of this. Now finally, what I'm doing here, I'm calling the sublist constructor, providing the this. What is the this? As of now, we are having 0 to 14, 15 records, and from index and to index. From index and to index. So this is a sublist. Now you can see private static class sublist. Internally, we created one class called sublist here. It is going to do this particular behavior. Okay. So here you can see this is the root object. Parent we are having null, offset from index, and the size we are having to index minus from index. Between that, whatever the records we are going to get, those are the sizes here. Okay, those are the sizes we are having. Now internally we can call the set method, and we can call the get method, and we can call the size method, add method, whatever we want to do. So we can do using this particular sublist here. I'm coming out of this. Now here you can see these are the integer object 0 to 7. 0 to 7 we are getting. So why we are getting 0 to 7? Because here what is the range we given? The range we given 5 to 13 we given 5 to 13. 5 to 13. 0 to 7 is something like 8 records we copied. 8 records we copied here. Okay. Now you can understand here how many records we are going to copy it here. So say between this particular from minus 2, we are going to get 8. The 8 records are going to copy it, and it will create into the new array list here. New array list here. So this is what we need to understand here. So whenever we are getting this particular list here, we can do the same operations here. Whatever the operations we are doing currently, we'll work on the same operations here. Okay. So this is the important sublist method. What exactly it will do? Simply it will do the copying the object based on the from index and to index. Copying the object based on the from index and to index. Now you can see, so 60, 456, 123, 789, and 70, 80, 100, 110. Okay, so this is the 130, 140, and 13 index location and 14 index location. So now, so you can see 0 index location, first index location, second, third, fourth. So 5th index location. So from the 5th index location, it started the 60, and 7 index location, 6th index location. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you can see 6th index location, 7th here, and 8 here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 14 we are having, and 15 we are having. Okay. So finally, what you understand here? So 5th to 1. What is the size we given here? 5th to 13 here. So 5 to 13 we given. Now this is the 5, and this is the 13. Now you can see. So 60 to 110. 60 to 110 we got it. Now same here, 60 to 110. 60 to 110. Okay, this is what we need to understand whenever we are trying to work with this particular sublist. Sublist is a simple method. If based on the from index and to index here, it is going to be copy the value and it will create into the new array list here. Okay, this is what we need to understand here. Okay, so any questions? Any questions? Remove method, index of, lost index of, sublist method. So still anyone having any questions? Okay, so if we don't have, so these are the important method we discuss under this particular array list here. Okay, so now array list is one of the implementation of list interface. So we'll see the hierarchy. The hierarchy, what we can understand here. So this is we discuss the collection interface, and here we are having list interface, and here we are having set interface, and here we are going to have queue interface. Now here the list internally is implemented by the array list here. So this is the array list we discuss here. Now we are going to have one more here. So something like a linked list here. Okay, linked list here. So now we need to discuss on this particular linked list here. So we'll work on the tomorrow session regarding this particular linked list here. Okay, so once it is familiar, we'll go for the set related implementation classes, and later we'll go for this particular queue related implementation classes here. Okay, so we'll now continue the linked list in the tomorrow session. So once we completed, we'll move on to this. But linked list is a different structure it is going to follow. But array list internally it is calling the index section. Okay, but whereas a linked list it is not going to follow this index related part here. So we'll see how exactly the linked list it is going to be implemented. Okay, so just a simple understanding, internally it is going to be use a node concept here. The linked list internally it is going to be use the node concept here. Okay, so these are the important session. We'll continue tomorrow. Linked list is also one of the important session. Okay, try to attend the tomorrow also. So we'll continue tomorrow.